Welcome back to the True Mets Talk podcast. It's your boy CP, and in this video, we are doing a brief player spotlight on one New York Met that has flown under the radar amongst a lot of Mets fans in their talking points and contributing to the New York Mets 2024 success, and that is newly acquired Met this past offseason, Tyrone Taylor by David Stearns. We'll get into the numbers, we'll do a little bit of a breakdown, and how Tyrone Taylor really got into this organization in the first place. Let's get into it. All right, before we do this full breakdown of Tyrone Taylor, you see here the numbers on a month by month basis in this season for Mr. Tyrone Taylor. Please hit the thumbs up on this video if you enjoy the content. It definitely helps the channel grow. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Trying to inch my way forward over to 1,000 subscribers. And that's been really my goal and my milestone goal on this channel to hit 1,000 subs. And also, please, if you are watching this, do me a favor and drop your comments in relation to Tyrone Taylor and what you all think about his production this season for the New York Mets in the comments section. I would definitely appreciate that. Again, if you all don't know how Tyrone Taylor got into this organization, you're going to have to fast forward all the way back to 2023, still under the Billy Epler regime as acting GM of that time, where the Mets were selling off anybody and everybody that they could in a failed season. They went and traded Eduardo Escobar to the Los Angeles Angels in exchange for pitching prospect Coleman Crowe. And Coleman Crowe was a double-A prospect, I believe, or at least now he is a double-A prospect. I believe he was still in the Angels organization at the time of the trade. And he remained in the organization all the way through the offseason point where this trade happened, where David Stearns got brought in as president of baseball operations, and he went and traded, and he went to his former team to try to grab a fifth starter at the time in Adrian Hauser and a fourth outfielder in Tyrone Taylor. He traded away Coleman Crowe. He flipped that prospect that Billy Epler brought into the organization. And by the way, Coleman Crowe, obviously unfortunate injury news and concerns in his career, has not thrown a pitch in 2024. So for those of you all who are kind of just wondering what Coleman Crowe's up to, he hasn't pitched at all in 2024. And now we get this great production value out of Tyrone Taylor. Again, just talking to the baseball genius and the mindset of the moves that David Stearns was able to make. And these under the radar type moves, especially because the main piece of this trade was supposed to be Adrian Hauser and what he could bring to the back end of the rotation. We all knew, at least I did, when this trade happened, that Tyrone Taylor was going to be a great fourth outfielder, a versatile outfielder. Defensively, he has some sneaky pop, but we didn't really know what to expect consistently. And now we have the full sample size, we have the full picture, and that's where this player spotlight comes into effect. And that's why I wanted to take the time and just sort of appreciate Tyrone Taylor and drop this video for you all as a little bit of a talking point. You see here, he got off to a pretty decent start as a New York Met as the season started in late March, going into April, hitting 277 in those months with the 720 OPS. And just like everybody in this Mets organization, especially the offense, had an abysmal time in May, batting 156, and the OPS was down to 374. But you see, after May, June, July, August, and now in September, the numbers slowly start to creep back up, and you get the production when it's crunch time here in September of Tyrone Taylor, your fourth outfielder, batting 286 with a 375 on base percentage and a 946 OPS. Tyrone Taylor is absolutely lights out when it matters the most, as the New York Mets are inching their way closer and closer to a playoff berth in the NL wildcard in this crucial race that they got going on between themselves, the Braves, Padres, and Diamondbacks alike. So let's get into a little bit more of the splits of Tyrone Taylor that we've seen this season. First and foremost, right? We always talk about impacts of players, and we talk about a fourth outfielder like Tyrone Taylor that can make a spot start in any single outfield position that you may need him in, whether he's playing for Harrison Bader in center, whether he's going over to left field for Brandon Nimmo when he needs a day off. Tyrone Taylor and the New York Mets are 40 and 27 in Tyrone Taylor starts this season. That is obviously like the correlation to that is not as great as the win-loss record when Francisco Alvarez, right, which has been a talking point this season, is in the lineup, because catchers make more of an impact on the game overall, pitch by pitch, inning by inning, than outfielders do. But I figured I'd throw in that little nugget here. When Tyrone Taylor is starting, the New York Mets are 40-27. But this is the most important part to me. And I always try to debunk this sort of ongoing baseball myth that lefty righty matchups are the end all be all, and these teams putting out lineups because there's a lefty on the mound and they have to get righty, 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 righty always into the game. That's not always the case. Yes, there's so many cases where that is true, but there are different anomalies and a lot of outside factors to where that isn't true. And Tyrone Taylor is one of those examples. You see here the numbers in red versus left-handed pitching versus the numbers in green versus right-handed pitching for a right-handed bat in Tyrone Taylor. Exponentially better against righties this season than he is lefties. And the Mets know that, and that's why he has almost 100 more at-bats versus righties than he does lefties on the season. And to round this all out, again, going back to this point of showing up when it matters the most, when the Mets offense is scuffling, right, prior to last night's 10-1 victory against the Washington Nationals, where Tyrone Taylor did get the start, had a multi-hit game, as did Jose Iglesias and Luis Angel Acuna and Pete Alonso alike. What are you going to do for me in the month of September when the Mets offense needs you the most? Well, Tyrone Taylor, over the last 5 games that he has appeared in, is 6 of his last 16. That's a 375 batting average, if I'm doing my math correctly. I might not be, so don't quote me on that. But again, he's got a 5-game hit streak as well. And he's doing it with the glove. He's doing it with the on the base paths with his running, right? He's also a stolen base threat. And we've seen that time and time again here in the 2024 season. Tyrone Taylor has been one of the most underrated New York Mets of this season. And obviously his performance backs it up. And that's on him, right? To sort of prove everybody right, when we were talking so greatly about him this offseason when he kind of came on board. But also it speaks to the genius of David Stearns having that familiarity with a former player in a different organization. And under your first year of President Baseball operations, going to your former team that employed you and saying, hey, listen, I know what Tyrone Taylor brings. I know that he can be of impact to you, but I also need his services because I need a 4th outfielder. I need a guy that's going to contribute for me whenever his name is called. And he goes out there and gets the deal done. And he kind of fleeces the Brewers in doing so in the process. Again, because Coleman Crowe, unfortunately, hasn't thrown a pitch in 2024 for the Milwaukee Brewers organization. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed this breakdown, again, a little bit of a refresher on Tyrone Taylor, some of the in-depth numbers behind this great season that he is posting, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all on the next video. Peace.
Thank you for watching the True Mets Talk podcast. Make sure you're tapping on that notifications button and checking out all the latest content on the channel. Thank you.